we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us here today. Earlier this afternoon, Donald Trump was arraigned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts.
This case is an abomination. You know, it's obviously political. 7 years to try to come up with this case. They're just wrong on the law.
The only crime that Donald Trump is being prosecuted for is the crime of running for president.
Political persecution at the highest level.
They've quite frankly given up on trying to beat him at the polls. Either going to steal it or stop it by law firm.
A Democrat prosecutor elected on a Get Trump platform.
What's going on here is a disgusting disgrace. It is war on Trump. It is war on the Republican Party. And it is a war on the Republic.
This case is the weakest case I've seen in 60 years of teaching, practicing, and writing about criminal law.
I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump.
This judge, I mean, you don't need a prosecutor if you have a judge like this. This judge is not on the level.
It's a terrible case, but the judge has been pretty much a rubber stamp on everything that Bragg has wanted to do.
They're perverting the system of justice. You know, that's where the danger lies. The corruption and subversion of our institutions by the left.
This is the Democrats' entire strategy, to confine President Trump to a dirty criminal courtroom and keep him off the campaign trail where he can bring his winning message to voters across this country.
New York has become a legal banana republic. They are so determined to get Donald Trump.
Look, convicting Donald Trump, that's all they have.
I think they have no cards, and they're depending upon Trump getting convicted.
That Trump train doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
The only verdict that matters is the verdict at the ballot box.
Yeah. Great ad. Great ad. Look, I don't know where to start. I'm not going to come onto the air and act surprised, though. I think we've spoken about this publicly. We've spoken about it on the phone, Rev. I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew there wasn't a snowball's chance in hell at not getting the result that we had. From the get-go, this has been a mess. I mean, you had one of the star witnesses admit to theft, stealing $60,000 from the Trump
Plus,
administration.
every one of those 34 charges completely made up.
Well, yeah, I challenge anybody to explain to me what the 34 charges were. All you liberals that are so excited, if you're so excited, at the Waller cooler, explain to me exactly what he did.
They can't.
All
They're
34
just happy. These are toddlers who don't care. I want everybody to understand that toddlers are sociopaths. Until we raise them and teach them boundaries, they are, for all intents and purposes, sociopaths. They're ready to be emotionally explosive and don't care or empathize with anyone else about what their behavior does to hurt anyone else. They don't care. They want their way. They want it now. And that's ultimately what we're dealing with. The question now becomes is, how far does this go before America just blows up? Because we're close right now. If one, and I want to be clear about this, if one of these people says or does the wrong thing right now while this is happening, there's a lot of people out there that are ready. But here's the even bigger issue is not only do we have this going on, but if you go ahead and take a minute, and I know most everybody stays away from Reddit because Reddit is AIDS and you don't want to catch AIDS or herpes because lefties will give you herpes. So they don't go near Reddit. But here's the thing is there's groups on Reddit right now, and Reddit allows this because they're lefties, so it's okay. They're talking about an armed if Trump is voted in and the next president, then they want to arm up and start the revolution themselves. Like they're actually talking and planning this. This is not supposition. Anybody can go look this stuff up. It's right there, public access. Reddit allows it. So this is going on. Like they want to go to the ends. They want to destroy this nation, and they're willing to fight and die for it, it seems. So
well, what they're willing to do is that I don't think they realize the precedent that this sets, because now seems to be that anybody can be prosecuted in a liberal city, and they could bend the rules and rewrite the rule book as they're going. That's what we just saw in real time happen. Look at the instructions that was given to the jury before they started deliberating. You could look right here. Check this out. We've got 34 out of 34 felony counts guilty for how many hours? 9.5 hours? 9.5 hours?
And I'm betting you they deliberated for half an hour and then had pizza and coffee and whatever else for the other 9 hours. These are all people that knew what they were going to do before this even started. The entire process from top to bottom is a complete bastardization of the judicial system. And there's two things to remember in this. And I want everybody to understand this. And you do what you will with this information, but here's the facts: is that one, many of the people that follow the left, the street walking idiots that are actually dumb enough to buy that garbage, they believe that they can antagonize us in the Civil War. Like I watch these conversations happen on social media. They believe that they can antagonize us in the Civil War, but they won't actually have to participate in it. They truly believe that they are going to antagonize a fight, and then it's going to be conservatives versus the military. And they think that all the little dildo throwing, pussy hat wearing, whatever.
Well, hold on, I don't think we'll get to that point, and I'll tell you why I don't think it'll get to that point.
Well, hold on though. Here's the thing though. It's not about whether or not we'll get to that point. It's the fact that these people are so arrogant enough that they believe this garbage, that they keep running their mouths and they keep antagonizing, not just trying to antagonize us, but all of these people like Bragg and all these trashy people that that are destroying our government are reinforced by these people's garbage. They think, oh, I got all these little dumbasses cheering for me, so it must be okay. What I'm doing is okay. But all of them have a misconception of where this is going. That's the thing. And I think that's the thing that we all have to remember.
I want to go back though for a second and and go back to the jury for just a minute, because that's kind of been an overlooked conversation. We have a guest backstage as well that I want to bring into this conversation in just a moment. But I want to kind of focus on how one-sided this had to have been from the jump. Just when you look right at face value, 9.5 total hours of deliberation for the amount of detail that they would have had to go through, 34 counts, not to mention there really wasn't a crime. So what I'm trying to say is guidelines and structure, there was lack thereof. So it's not like, hey, this person committed murder, yes or no, right? This was a gray area on the largest level of gray areas.
The jury instruction was a gray area on a gray area. Like all the charges are gray area. Like nobody even understands what the prosecution was trying to outline. And then on top of it, they're basically the judge's instructions to the jury were, if you don't like Trump or you think he might be guilty, you don't even have to agree on what. Just if you just want to find him guilty, just as long as you can all come together and find him guilty of anything. It doesn't matter. And keep in mind that they started out with a Manhattan jury to begin with. So this is everybody that's already pre-programmed. This entire thing was rigged. And I'd like to make a quick side note in the middle of this, is that if we thought that Trump was being charged and tried for something that he had actually done, we could accept that. We wouldn't be, happy about it, but we could accept it. If Trump had actually committed a crime and it was plain to see that the righteous legal system was happening, then we would all accept it and move on. We would probably cry a little bit about it and be upset, but we would move on. The reality is that we see that this entire clown show has been a farce from top to bottom, from beginning to end. The entire thing is an absolute farce. I mean, there's just no other word to describe it. The whole thing is a joke, and it was a joke from the beginning. And that's the part that worries me, is because a nation without laws is not a nation, and our government no longer represents us. And the fact that nobody else, including, and I want to be clear about this, including our own Republican representatives, nobody has stood up and done a damn thing about this. Don't ever believe that our representatives in Congress represent us. All of these people that run their mouths and they say, well, we're doing this and we're trying that and everything else. No, they're not. No, they're not.
There's certainly an issue in it. The swamp needs to be drained. And I think that we're going to get to that. Additionally, on top of that the Civil War thing, it is a relevant topic that needs to be talked about. However, once Trump gets in, we're going to see a lot of people say, oh, what were we so worried about? Because making America great again means just that, making America great again for not Republicans, for everybody. So citizens, they will wake up at some point in time throughout this next 4 years. But I want to bring in Colton into this conversation here, Rev. Hold on 1 second, because we have him backstage. Colton from CPAC. He's been on the show before. Great young patriot, has his own show, content that he makes. So I'm going to bring him into the conversation. Colton, brother, good to see you again. How you doing, my friend?
Good to see you. I wish I could say it was better on this day, but pretty sad day in America. Thanks for having me back.
Sad day indeed. Sad day indeed. Colton, real quick, tell us for anybody who might not know who you are off the jump, give us the quick breakdown of what you do and where people could find your content if they're interested.
Yeah, so I currently work in the communications department at CPAC. And if you don't know what CPAC is, I like to say it's like Turning Point, but the older generation level. It's been around for a lot longer. We hold the annual CPAC conference every single year, and I've been doing like man on the street stuff with CPAC. That's kind of how I started in politics, and now I just started my own podcast. It's called Battle Belongs, which is pretty fitting for everything that we're going through. But you can find all of my content at Colton Furlow on all socials, or follow CPAC as well at CPAC.
Love it. Love it. Colton, so share your take. You see the verdict coming out about 2 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, around 5 o'clock, 5:30. Initially, you see this come across the screen, guilty on all 34 counts. You think what? Surprised, not surprised? What's your initial reaction when you saw this?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised whatsoever. I think from the beginning, the moment that he was first indicted on any of these charges across all the different cases, we knew that there was going to be a conviction. It was set up that way. That's the way that the cards were dealt for President Trump. We knew that there's going to be conviction, and I don't think it really does anything other than the fact that it gives him a label of conviction next to his name. I don't think anything's going to happen. I don't think he's going to go to prison. He might get a fine or something, but that's what the Democrats have wanted ever since he came in the picture back in 2015. They wanted to get Trump. Alvin Bragg campaigned on this. He talked about getting Trump, and today he finally, quote unquote, got Trump. But I think it's just going to turn back and bite him in the butt come November.
You said something that is a very good point. It's really just about the label, kind of like with how the mugshot wasn't about the process. It was simply about having a public picture, a public mugshot of Donald Trump. And this is nothing but that as well. Convicted felon Donald Trump. That's all they were looking for, right? They're looking for this type of talking point so the left can continuously throw, oh, but he's a convicted felon though. Convicted felon though. Yeah. Under what type of process? Rev, would you agree, man? This really was about labeling. Being able to label him.
You're absolutely right. And that's really the point that I was leading up to. It's not to go down the road of civil war, but to point out that okay, so you guys are absolutely right. They want the label. It's going to backfire in their face horribly, because all they're doing is America loves the underdog to begin with. And America sees, Trump being treated just as horribly as the rest of us are, that he's now one of us. He's not one of them. So, of course, his vote count is going to be so over the top that it doesn't matter how much they try to steal. But the other point that I'm leading up to is that once we get him back in, and we are going to get Trump back in. Trump is going to be number 47 for sure. But the thing that we have to face is that that's not the end of it. That these people are so deranged that, I mean, think about this. Jerome Powell of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, intentionally destroyed the economy so that we could have a bad economy under Trump, because he's that politically worried or concerned or whatever strange shit goes through his head. I don't know. But this is how far these people are willing to go. And that's the reality that we have to accept, is that we have to learn to play their over-the-top garbage against them instead of reacting to it. I don't think anybody should run out in the streets and start anything right now. I know a lot of people want to. After what they heard this afternoon, a lot of people want to go out.
Fired up.
Yeah, they want to put the gloves on and they want to get in the ring. And I understand that completely, because in my heart, that's kind of where I'm at too, if I'm being honest. But we gotta use our noggins and face the reality that we have to play the long game. We have to play the smart game. And at every turn when they do this, we have to turn it back on them. We have to let their garbage blow up in their face, because the greatest thing, the most profound thing that Donald Trump has ever said, the most profound truth, is that everything woke turns to shit. And it does every time, because wokeism is the worship of failure. So even as they move forward, they're worshiping their own failure. All we have to do is be willing to help them and let them fail. That's it. That's all we got to do.
Oh, you're right. And ultimately, it's a free market. I say free market, but we hope to be a free market. So the people are going to decide everything. Here's Donald Trump, this quick 10-second clip. Listen to this.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
So, I mean, and there's no doubt about it, as long as there's no crazy cheating. But let's just put that part of the conversation to the side for a second, assuming there is no crazy cheating. But Colton, what are you seeing out there? You and I are kind of in the same age range ish. I like to think people are really, really turning the corner and seeing through this leftist bullshit. But dude, then I log on to TikTok and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm not as convinced when I go to these other platforms. What's your opinion on the age groups that you're around, whether it's people under 30 or up? What any direction you want to go? What are you seeing in society as far as waking up goes?
I just think people are fed up. If anyone is like me, I kind of just tuned all of this out as soon as the indictments started coming down. As soon as the trials even started, I just didn't even care anymore because I knew what the outcome was going to be. What I'm focused on is the things that affect me directly every single day. The economy, how gas is skyrocketing, crime is running rampant all around the country. And, you know, Alvin Bragg had his little press conference and said, this is what we do every day. He's letting actual criminals get off free while they're going after Donald Trump for something that happened a decade ago. And he just campaigned on, you know, getting Trump. I think the majority of the people, especially my age, care about what's actually happening in America right now. And they see, just like you said, they see right through the left's manipulative weaponization of the DOJ. And if anything, they are thinking exactly what Donald Trump says. You know, if they can come after me, they're going to come after you. I don't think anyone is buying it, and it's just a sham that's going to backfire, God willing.
And on that point, you know, you could very easily correlate the economy, the local economy in Manhattan, New York, right into that conversation. You look at like the Engoron case. You know, what does that do to business owners or somebody who's forming a corp? They're not going to do it in New York. If they do it to Donald Trump, who was the former president of the United States, if they don't like your viewpoints or the direction that you're going in, or if you don't listen to their advice, they're going to do that shit to you too. So they're going to end up scaring away. See, precedent's a powerful thing, right? And they're going to end up scaring people away from New York. And it won't be long, Rev, I know you can comment on this, but it won't be long before New York people, anybody with common sense moves out. Anybody who has any sense of entrepreneurial spirit won't be setting up shop there. New York, San Francisco, LA, in other cities, Chicago, Seattle. These are just going to be hubs of illegals and criminals, high crime and illegal aliens. That's what you're going to have in these major blue cities.
You're going to have Somalia. That's what you're going to have. You're going to have warlords, gang lords, whatever you want to call them, running different territories. There's not going to be any government left, and the whole thing is going to be a war zone. Anybody who has any integrity or accountability or even just basic common sense, people that want to own businesses, you know, all the way down to the mom and pop cafe on the corner, just a little tiny small business, aren't going to be able to operate within the confines of New York State. They're not going to do it. So all of those people are going to leave, and all of their economic contributions are going to leave with them, because we're not just talking about, you know, like a tax-based contribution, you know, to the state. We're also talking about the money, the ebb and flow of economy, money circulating among the people. That's all going to leave as well. So you're going to have all these high prices, all these high rates, and no businesses to hire anybody or pay anybody. You're going to have a state that thinks that, you know, keeping everybody on welfare is somehow going to work, but they don't have the financial fortitude to be able to hold everybody on welfare either. And then the whole thing is going to collapse, because this worship of failure always collapses. You can't chase failure and then not expect, you know, it's like a math problem. You can't expect continual subtraction to not eventually reach zero. That's just hard facts. That's not anybody's emotional opinion or connection or anything else. It's hard facts. And that's the road they're going down. And they're evidently not intelligent enough to understand basic calculator.
Well, in the evidence is proving that, right? You get the initial indictments, you have the raid, Trump's prevailing, the mugshots, he's prevailing. You have this case prevailing. You had the E. Jean Carroll prevailing. You had the inflated assets work in the banks prevailing. Guys, like, and this is where it gets scary. Like, they've thrown the book at Trump. Nothing has worked. I mean, I don't. Does it stop here? I mean, Colton, does it end with this case? And now do we get to the debates? And as far as political warfare goes, maybe you get some name calling on both sides in debate season. But is this the last of the legal stuff that we're going to see?
I don't think so. And I don't think they're going to ever stop going after Trump until Trump is dead. And, you hear all these people. This is what really ticked me off on social media today. It really wasn't that the verdict that ticked me off and made me upset. It was the people who were saying, well, this wouldn't happen if it was Ron DeSantis. They're going to go after every single GOP frontrunner that there is. If Ron DeSantis was our nominee, they'd be going after him. Maybe that they wouldn't be able to come up with all these different legal things from 10 years ago, but I'm sure they'll find something. And they are just nitty gritty, horrible, evil people that will not stop at anything until they destroy their target. And no, I don't think it's going to stop. So that's the scary part. Like you said, what's next? They come after him this way, this way, this way, and this way, and it hasn't worked. What's next?
Do they go for? And I hate to be the one to say it, but like I'm worried for his life. I'd hope that security they've doubled, tripled up, because essentially every time they've tried to cut him and take a slice at him, he's gotten more likable, more popular, more favorable. And in places where Joe can't afford to lose. See, it's not like he takes the state of Florida and makes it even more red. No. He's flipping Wisconsin. He's flipping Michigan. He's flipping states all over the place. You look at Georgia. There's a bunch of places that could very easily go red that didn't go red last time. So I think the Biden administration sees the problem. I think they're very aware of the problem, and that's why they're not campaigning on Joe's resume. Well, there isn't a resume. They're campaigning on bash, total tyrant bullshit. But it's sad to see. So Colton, I don't want to hold you too long, man. I know I told you I'll have you on for just 10 minutes. I don't want to keep you all night, brother, but I appreciate you joining us and coming on and sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm going to have to get you on my podcast too, so you can give us an update, everything in Chris's world.
Absolutely. Real quick, before I let you go, man, tell everybody one more time where they could find your show and what they can expect when they tune into your page.
Yeah, so the Battle Belongs podcast, you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, or on Rumble and on YouTube through our CPAC Plus channels. So basically, real quick, Battle Belongs podcast is discussing all of these cultural issues that we face today from a Gen Z perspective, but ultimately knowing that every single battle that we face here on Earth ultimately doesn't matter, because God has already gone before us and won the battles. But if God is waking you up in the morning, He has a plan for you, and you have a duty to make this world a better place. So that's what I discuss on the Battle Belongs podcast, just all the different topics. And then you can follow me on all socials at Colton Furlow. My name's spelled different thanks to my parents, so I can't even run as a write-in candidate if I ever wanted to. So it's COLETONFURLOW. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, Colton, man, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining me in Boiling Point Live this evening.
Yeah,
awesome.
Appreciate you, man.
See ya.
Hell yeah. Great young patriot there. Another one. Rev, it's easy to find great patriots, but it is hard to find really young, passionate people on the conservative side of things. You got to admit, it's not like they're walking around all over the place.
There's actually a lot more than most realize.
True.
It's just that many of these people feel like there's no point. I mean, think about this. There's no point in stepping up and speaking up if you don't have anybody with you. It's like the dance floor. You know what I mean? If at high school, if a couple people don't get out and start dancing, nobody else is going to get out and start dancing. Everybody's afraid. And it's kind of the same scenario now. We don't In the Republican Party, we don't have representatives that are willing to literally put on the gloves and get in the ring and fight back. And that's really the majority of the problem here, is that almost everybody that we elect, or at least think we elect, that gets up there, they patsy to the left. They give in to all of this globalist, Marxist takeover that we're watching go on. And I mean, even I'm frustrated with it. And I think that the real cure, I know a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people want to strap up tonight. A lot of people want to scream game time and just go ahead and get it, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it out loud, but you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of people want to go there. But the reality is that we have our work ahead of us, that if later down the road it ends up going there, fine, whatever, that's just the way the cards play. But we have to get unified now. We have to get our voices together now, because if we try going there now, that not enough people are willing to stand up together. And that's the thing is that if we get our voices together, if we stand together in one unified voice and scream at everybody in our elected positions all the way across, I mean, from county level to state to federal, if we yell at everybody, if we get in everybody's faces and say, hey, this is what we want or else, then we could change this just by showing up in numbers. We don't have to go there. We just show up in numbers and show up in voice, and we've got this, but we've got to go there first. And even if it goes there, that thing that everybody keeps talking about, even if it goes there, we have to get our stuff together first. That's the reality of it.
It is. You can't be worried about everybody else if your shoes aren't tied first. So,
right.
How about tie? We got to tie our own shoes before we walk out of the house in the morning. I want to play this clip for you. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently this was released by the Trump campaign as well this evening.
If you're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Boom.
Great ad. And that's kind of like, I watched Dan Bongino had Trump on last night at like 6 or 7 o'clock. It was later in the evening. And Trump said, the one thing that it's been good for his numbers. It's been good for his polling, right? Because why do you think this is hundreds of millions of dollars of free advertising? Now, I get it. Like, well, Chris, Jesus. I mean, it's not the best type of advertising. And yes, you're right. But when when the left is advertising this type of bullshit, continuously keeping his name in the news, and we sit here as intellectual people and we're like, oh my God, look at what they're doing to him. Now, if we're brainwashed sheep, maybe what I'm saying doesn't apply, but we're not brainwashed sheep. Most of the country is looking at this and they're like, what the fuck? What are they charging him for? What was he just guilty of? I mean, just think about that. Tomorrow in the offices across America, the number one conversation is going to be, can somebody please explain to me what Trump is guilty of? Do you believe that's that?
But
right?
See, that's exactly the culmination of my point, that we need to get unified. I mean, we all have to get our voices together, but two, and Biden is our greatest asset. All of this derangement that they're doing is literally our greatest asset. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but the reality is, the real truth is that the harder that they do this, the more overtop garbage, they can't even define the charges against him. It's stuff that they made up that doesn't even exist in the law books as we speak right now. So the more they do that, the more America wakes up, the more America people that weren't involved before. And even now, like we saw with the Bronx, there's a lot of people who are saying, hey, I'm a Democrat. I've been a lifelong Democrat, but I'm voting Trump. You see, the more that happens, the more they fail. The more they worship their woke over the top. We got to hurt everybody we don't like because, feelings or whatever stupid thing they're crying about. The more they do that, the more they literally grow. I mean, think about this. We're watching grown people like Alvin Bragg, Judge, what is his cup of soup, Merchant cup of soup, whatever his name is.
Merchant. And then there's the last case was Angeron.
Who turned out to be a pedophile too. He's chasing little girls at the gym.
Yeah,
that are
that's actually, I mean, this is all facts.
So here's the thing is that these people are blowing themselves up. They stomp around literally. I mean, consider this. How embarrassing is it when you're in the grocery store somewhere and you see someone who is my age in their 50s and they're acting like a child, literally like a toddler, and not acting as someone with some age behind them should. And that's what America's seeing. They're seeing Alvin Bragg stomp around like a cocky little kid that thinks he just did something because he got his new fire truck. You know what I'm saying? And that's, he doesn't consider the bigger picture. He doesn't understand. And even, let's be real about this. Bill Barr was never on the side of Trump or on the side of America. Bill Barr is not our friend. He is not our friend. And the guy is just as much of a traitor as Biden or anybody else. But even he's smart enough to say, this is too far. It's going to backfire. You people are stupid. And even people on CNN now are coming out and saying, hey, this is all backfiring. You people are stupid. But yet these people in the highest positions in our judicial system have the most moronic ideas and the least understanding of reality, and it's backfiring in their face. So America right now, the one thing we need to do is ridicule it and invite everybody else to join us in ridiculing it, invite everybody to see how ridiculous this is. And until something worse happens, and I don't think it's going to, because this is all backfiring in their face, then we just need to keep ridiculing it, because what they do or don't do doesn't matter. And I need everybody to understand this. What these leftist retards do doesn't matter. What matters is what we do or don't do about it. If we get united, if we get more people joined together, if we get, look at this, if we get a lot more people, let me see if I can get on the camera here. I guess I'm out of the camera shot. See that? I got my 3 bullets. I got my We the People. This means a lot more than just 3%. This means a lot more than just this nation. This means we, the people. And if we could get more people to join that, to join the We the People, to get on the same page and to understand, I mean, consider this. We all have different ideas of what we should do for our future. But we all have to remember that we're brothers and sisters in this nation, and this is our future to fight over. All of these people that are trying to give our sovereignty away, we have to come together in one unified voice and stop that garbage first, and then we can get back to bickering like brothers and sisters.
You start to wonder how people even got so lost in the first place, like how people are siding with the type of ideology that's being spewed. And I got to tell you, I think it just goes back to the lack of entrepreneurial spirit, the lack of I can do it alone. I do think that there's a large amount of people that we coexist with who want to be told when to show up for work, how long to stay, what to do while they're there, when to go home, and how much they'll make. And they'll live their lifestyle based off of all those pre-existing conditions. And they're not going to try to do better or do worse. They're going to do average enough to keep things kosher. And it is that is a socialist society, if you will. When you have people, when you have this titty sucker mentality, just give me, and let me go through the motions. I think that is how you end up with the sheeple mindset. People aren't ferocious. They don't have fire in the belly. They don't have the intellectual curiosity to go deeper. And there is just no initiative at all. And when you start to look at those people and like what kind of characteristics are they holding? Like, what kind of personality traits are they holding? Oftentimes you're going to find, hey, this person's just a lazy bum. Person's a piece of garbage, doesn't give a shit, doesn't care to give a shit. Like, all these people who sit here and point the finger online, you can't really go at them with logic. Like, I've got people messaging me on Snapchat or whatever, because I'm from New York, got a lot of liberal friends up there. And they're like, you 34 counts. And, what I say back is, yeah, great. This really changed my mind. I'm voting for Joe now, because that's all I really can say.
Yeah.
If I was to go back with fact or logic, it would totally miss, because they're not in the weeds like me. They don't know the details like me. All they know is guilty, and they're going to blindly trust the government.
Well, one of the problems that we have, and this is what I mean when I talk about we need to find our unity, is many of these people, I mean, yeah, some of them are bums. I mean, just no doubt about it, they're bums. They were bums when they were born. They're going to be bums when they die. That's just, my brother's one of those people. You know what I mean? He always tells me 100 reasons why I can't do this and I can't do that. And you're going to fail at this and you're going to fail at that. And yet here I am succeeding anyway, in spite of all of his horrible advice. And the reality is that many of these people have been told that, and they let it get in their head. They've been told why they're going to fail all the way from a young age, where their parents, their teachers, everybody around them has told them 100 reasons why they're going to fail. Why don't even bother trying. Don't even bother caring. Don't even bother worrying about affecting change or doing anything better in this world, because it's going to fail. You're not worth anything. You're not going anywhere. You can't do this. You can't do that. This message, even these kids now, I mean, think about this. We talk about higher learning. Our higher learning, our most esteemed learning institutions in the United States of America are teaching children what they can't do. They're teaching all these young people all the reasons that the cards are already stacked against them. You're going to fail. You should be upset about this, and you should be upset about that. Well, the reality is, and this is how we perfect our unity, is we take those very same people and we tell them, no, that's all BS. Come over here. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why you can succeed. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why we can do something bigger and better. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why we can be unified, and together we can do something bigger and better. That as a team, as a community, as a people, we can do great things together. It doesn't have to be you alone failing at everything because somebody else told you. You know, there's 100 stories, and this is one that ticks me off. I'm going to give you an example. Will Smith, that racist piece of trash, comes out with all the garbage. He says he's so oppressed because of racisms and everything else. But look at the life he lived. I mean, this guy came out of the streets of Chicago, made himself famous, made himself a millionaire on the backs of Americans just like me, including us little dumb white kids back when we were still little dumb white kids. And racism didn't hold him back. And you want to talk about privilege? That guy's got a butt ton more privilege than I do. You know, he can go anywhere and get away with anything, and nobody cares. They're like, oh, that's Will Smith. You know what I mean? He walked up on stage and smacks Chris Rock in the mouth, doesn't get arrested. You know what? Let me try that. Let me walk up on stage and smack someone in the mouth and see if I don't find my butt in the pokey. That's the reality. And if we convince all of these other people that they can, instead of letting somebody like Will Smith tell them 100 reasons why they can't, then maybe we could change the world. Let's tell our young people that, hey, this little parameter that they're giving you, this little box that they're putting you in, bro, that's not yours. That's theirs. You don't have to live in that box. You want to accomplish, the sky's the limit. That has to be the message. That's how we lift each other up, by growing our community. I mean, consider this, and then I'll stop. Is if we convince everybody in our community, especially our young people, all the great things that they could do, then how much better is our community? How much greater is my life if everybody around me is doing great also? That's the point. We help ourselves. Yeah. We help ourselves by helping each other. That's what we should be doing.
But, you know, there's Like you get these trolls. Like I just can't fathom how they get to that point. Like the problem is they're not thinking about it logically. Like Donald Trump to them is just a symbol of hatred, and it gets their blood boiling, and it's so feelings. But at the end of the day, what's so bad about making America great again for you, me, and everybody else? What's so bad about having a secure border? What is so bad about having a thriving economy in the sense of investments in the stock market? Even we get that it is right now, but low cost of goods, low cost of services, a strong dollar, a strong military. No,
I can tell you what's bad about all of that. I can tell you what's bad about all of that.
What'd you say?
I can tell you what's bad about all of that.
But no, and I know, I guess it's kind of rhetorical, but do you get what I'm saying? See, it's what I'm trying to say is these individuals are not meeting this head on with logic. They're meeting it head on with emotion and misguided perception.
Yeah. The minute we came out, and this is the real truth, most of the people on the left are not kitty diddlers. They're not running around sticking their fingers in children's buttholes like some of the Hollywood is. Most of these people are not actually pro kid porn and all of that stuff.
They're just Trump deranged.
Well, it's not just Trump deranged. They're being trained for opposition politics.
Yes,
they believe that anything that we're for, the minute we say we're against pedophilia, they have to say that they're for it.
Yeah, and you know what? You are right, because if it wasn't Trump, in 4 years will come and pass. It'll be Vivek next, or it'll be DeSantis next. And you're 100% right. It's just going to keep going.
And if we don't get a handle on it now, and this is why I say we have to let them and even help them and encourage them to go ahead and fail now. Let this, here's the thing about it. Okay. So we've been fighting for years. This is what I've been watching. This is what being a little bit old will teach you. This is what a little wisdom will teach you. So we've been watching for years. The left try to push all this progressive this progressive idea, that climate crisis, all this stupid shit that they come up with because their pea little brains can't get bigger than that. And here's the thing is that the Biden Express has been an express dive into the shithole for the United States of America, because we've let them now try every one of their stupid little progressive ideas, and we've watched this country fail miserably because of it. And here's the hard part for the rest of us that are patriots, that are Americans, that love this nation, that want to stand up, that want to get in the ring, that want to protect that which we love and everything else. This is the hard part for us, is we have to let it fail. We have to let them fail specifically so that they learn their lesson, because these are the type of little retards that it doesn't matter how many times you tell them not to put their hand on the hot burner. It doesn't matter how many times they see someone else put their hand on the hot burner. These little morons aren't going to learn until you just go ahead and put their hand on the hot burner.
This is true. This is true. Sometimes you got to make the mistake yourself. But that gets back to the whole point. It's like, you notice when anybody has something very, very serious happen to them, like they lose a family member due to maybe something to do with an illegal or a fentanyl, and they're like, oh, now I understand why the border is such a big deal. See, it takes something happening to them personally for them to be like, oh, fuck, there is consequences to elections. There is consequences to actions. But people just don't realize it if nothing happens.
You want to fix the border right now? You want to fix the border right now under Biden? All we all have to do is come out in favor of open borders. Have Trump suddenly say that, you know what, I changed my mind. I want to keep the borders open. I think that's the right way to do things. And immediately, their little opposition politics minds, because that's all they know. They don't think out logic, like you said. They would
close it tomorrow.
They just know that whatever you say, they have to be against. So yeah, they would slam that border shut quick, fast, in a hurry as soon as we say we're for it. Or better yet, you want to get rid of Democrats completely, say, I'm all for breathing air.
Yeah.
And they'll hold their breath and stop breathing. Yeah.
They'll hold their breath.
And it seems silly, but that's really where their mind's at. That it's literally, this isn't about logic. This isn't about common sense or anything else. It's literally, let's take a step back for a minute. So we look at like like these drag time show story hour things in the library. You got some dude sitting there with his cock hanging out from under his dress in front of little kids. The left isn't for that either. They just know that it pisses us off.
Yeah, I would agree. I think
That's all it's about.
That is what it's about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these people who are you got I always say the Save Women Sports bill. Every single Democrat voted to allow men to compete against women. Every one of them.
Right.
And it's like you ask yourself, do none of them have daughters at home? And they do. They know that it's wrong. They know it's wrong. They know they wouldn't want their kid competing against the man. The problem is what you said is we, the common sense party, say, no. And they're like, damn, even though it doesn't make any sense, got to go against it because the conservatives are for it. You know what I mean?
You know something a good parent does once in a while?
What?
A good parent says, here, Junior, here's a paper clip. Go stick in that light socket over there. See what happens. Stick in that wall plug. Hey, here's a 600-pound TV on a flimsy little dinner tray. Go ahead, pull it over, Junior. See what happens. Sometimes some lessons we just got to learn. That's just the facts. Here's a lighter. Here's a pack of matches. Go out in the backyard and have a good time.
Yeah. You're 100% right. All right, Rev, we're about 20 minutes to the top of the hour. I know you got another live stream that you're going to be headed on. So let's wrap this thing up.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, especially all of you, my chats are loaded up over here, by the way, tonight. If you guys want to keep watching, give me a little bit to get off of here and reset, and then I will be on with PTP Podcast. Pete the Patriot, a good friend, a good member of the community. So the discussions are they're always amazing. So give me a little bit to reset and hop on in again.
Love it. If you guys liked what you hear tonight on Rumble, go ahead and follow Chris's World on Rumble. Hit me up on Twitter at Chris's World. Live with Chris's World airs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I won't be back until Monday, but I know Rev's going on the air right after this, and I think he's got a live stream tomorrow as well.
And all of you over in my chats, by the way, especially those of you that are already on Rumble, make sure you get over there and follow Chris's World as well. We got a good thing going. We got some good people, so make sure to get over, give him a follow. And those of you that are watching on Chris's Rumble, make sure you get over and give Bowling Point Live a follow as well. Let's get everybody connected. And just as a side note, if you're following either one of us on X, then you know what? Get together with us. Get together with me. We're getting everybody connected. We're getting Patriots connected. If you want to grow your following as well, you want to talk to more Patriots, then let's get together and let's get everybody connected. And
that reminds me. Next week, I'm going to be giving away freedom bracelets during the stream. Let's check these out.
Wow,
look at that. At the end of the stream. This is my fun little idea to wear Patriot Pride 24/7. It says together we will save America. So be tuned into the show. And next week, I'm going to be giving away 3 bracelets on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Be sure to tune in to Live with Chris's World. We'll be giving away bracelets at the end of the show.
And in between, I want to make sure that you guys go over to freevoicemedia.com. You know what? We got a whole thing going on over there. Everything that you want to know that is news and what's going on in our culture that we're finding on X, you're going to find on Free Voice Media. Our ambassadors and content creators as well. You're going to find a whole list of great people to watch, podcasts to listen to. All of it's going on freevoicemedia.com. Freevoicemedia.com. Check it out. You guys will love it. I'm telling you. And by the way, when you go to the website and you see a post from somebody, with some article, if you want to follow that person, if you want to comment on that post, you want to like it, share it, repost it, whatever you want to do, you want to quote tweet it, it's directly from X. So you could click on it and follow it right back into X, and you don't have to go find it again. It's right there for you.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's that easy. See post, boom. Oh, crap. It's sharing the tab. Well, on my other tab, it went, crap. It went right into the into X. So that's how it works. So you click see post.
If you go to the website, Click
Good
on
stuff.
everything. You know what? We'll just save you some trouble. Click on everything in there. Have a good time.
Love it. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. Rev, always good doing these simulcasts. I wish it could have been on better terms. It's shitty that this is happening to our president, but
you know what?
Brighter times ahead.
Yeah. Everybody keep your chin up, keep your shoulders square, keep marching forward. Remember that we are brothers and sisters, not just before God, but before this nation as well. We the people. So you know what? As long as we stand together, we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine. I want you guys to remember that. So make sure you give us all a follow. Make sure that you get connected. Make sure that you get other people in here for the conversation as well, because this is our future to have together. So love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time right here on Chris's World and Boiling Point Live on Free Voice Media.
Love it. Have a great weekend, everyone.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.